Alright, hello everyone. Today I wanted to record a video on the topic of how long does it take one to heal from chronic illness, chronic fatigue, long COVID, chronic pain, trauma-related illness, blah, blah, blah. It's probably the question that I get asked the most from clients and people in comments and all of that. And it's probably my least favorite question to answer, but I wanted to make a video on it because it's such a common question. So how long does it take one to heal, right? Timelines. People ask questions about timelines. Comparing to my timeline, what was my timeline for healing? You know, when I try to answer this question, what I usually respond with is that, and it's not always what people want to hear, but I'll come at it from a few different angles. But first is that it's not linear, and it's so dependent on where you're at in your journey, right? So, you know, everybody's kind of coming from a different background with how long things have been building up before they got sick, how much has been trapped in the nervous system, how much like trauma has built up, emotional repression. Your timeline is at some point you get sick because that was kind of your breaking point. All the triggers came together and that was your breaking point. And then the way that you're going to work through it, everybody's going to be different, right? You might dive into everything in a certain way, but you also might have responsibilities that somebody else doesn't have. So you've got to balance your responsibilities with your healing. So don't worry about a timeline outside of how your own journey is playing out. It's noisy here. So I don't know what that is, but I'm in Australia currently. This is in Western Australia in like a very small town on a farm. It's so beautiful here. The energy is insane. Like so peaceful. I'm staying with someone here. And yeah, so what I was saying is the question about timeline, it is generally also a way to try to get away from exactly where you are in your journey right now. Like, I totally understand the question. I had it myself so much, but you're always exactly where you need to be. And I know that's an annoying thing to hear, but it's the truth, in that what you need to feel, what you need to work through is always exactly what's coming up for you right now. And then the question about time and timelines and how long does healing take, right? That's kind of pulling you a little bit away from what's coming up for you now. It's a way to avoid it, in a sense. It's a way to think about the future or distract yourself with this question of, it's doubt as well. Is my journey playing out in the right way? When am I going to get better, right? It can be frustration a lot as well. Frustration. You want to feel into what's underneath the question. When somebody asks me that question, it's about something that's coming up underneath the question. That's the key. Like, a conceptual answer is meaningless to me. Like, if someone asks me that question, I'm going to be like, a year, 2 years, 6 months. There's nothing that I can say that is like, yeah, I know exactly how long it's going to take for you to heal. But there's a reason that the question's coming up, right? It's a way to, feel into what do I feel if I cannot get a specific answer? Again, the mind wants certainty. It doesn't want the experience of not knowing. But what if I can be okay with trusting that I will heal, I will work through what I need to, I will get to where I want to get to. But what if I can trust that I don't need to know exactly when that's going to be, and I don't need to know exactly how it's going to play out, and it's not going to play out the same way as anybody else. It's just going to be unique to me. Because, you know, for me, like an example from my journey is I really let go at a deep level to dive into my healing. So my timeline, again, might be different to yours because of just the circumstances that I was in, right? I dropped out of university, I stopped working, and I wasn't doing anything else and then I started going like really deep with meditation and doing all of this and all of that. But that was specific to my journey, right? That was specific to the responsibilities that I had at that time as well. If you're somebody, you've got children and you've got like a mortgage that like if you've got different circumstances, my timeline doesn't matter, because that was completely relevant to the circumstances that I had. What's completely relevant is that you're on your path already. So don't worry too much about my path or anybody else's path, and don't worry about timelines. This is where the trust aspect comes in. I once got a timeline from a lady that I was working with, who was like a health coach, and it wasn't helpful to me. It actually was quite the opposite, because it came from great intentions, but this idea that we'll have you healed in like 4 months time, and in 4 months time I was feeling horrible, and then I had this kind of I was like upset about that, where I was like, he told me I'd be healed. Like, obviously it's not her fault in any way, but this is the thing as well, is like, who am I to tell anybody a healing timeline? Like, but feel into what's underneath it. What if you can't know? What if you can't get a specific answer? What if you don't know how long this is going to play out for, and you just have to be okay with that? And again, it doesn't mean giving up. Quite the opposite. It means trusting that things will play out how they need to, and that you're always, the more you can open up, the more you can receive exactly what you need to receive, right? If you're going to fight and resist what's coming up in your experience, then it makes things tricky. But you're always being given exactly what you need in every single moment, right? The symptoms in your experience, that's your gift in every single moment. That's what you need to be feeling right now. That's what life is sending you to take you to the next stage of your journey. So don't fight it, and just watch out for your mind, because your mind is going to want to fight what's coming up. It's going to want to complicate it. It's going to want to turn it into a story. It's going to want to turn it into, fuck knows, something complex, when it's simple. It's always simple. It's simply what's arising here now that you would rather not feel. What is arising that you're not allowing? What is arising that you're hoping? I've mentioned this question before, but it's so relevant, right? If you're thinking of timelines, then ask yourself, what am I hoping will go away at this specific timeline idea, right? So if you're thinking, when am I going to be fully healed? What does it mean to be fully healed? And what's going to go away in my experience? And can I surrender and accept that? Can I accept that that is in my experience now? And can I see, what would it be like to really let this be here with no timeline of when it needs to go away? That's really powerful. It's like, what if I let this be here forever? Like eternities, lifetimes, right? What if not even after you die, then you come back in another lifetime and it's still there? And you come back in another lifetime and it's still there. You're never getting away from this. Sit with that. It's relief, because there's nothing you need to do about it anymore. You're like, I'm never at any point in my life going to get away from this experience. So let me really just be with it. Then I can just really be with it. And then at the same time, then you can also stop waiting for a specific timeline before you feel ready to do things that are going to challenge your current limits and boundaries. So that's always the other side of it, is feel what you need to feel, and at the same time, stop waiting for a specific timeline before you're ready to do something. Trust your intuition. If something feels exciting, but you don't feel ready for it, but something wants to, then you're never going to get that certainty of the right timeline. That kind of is the answer. It's getting a bit dark here, so I'm going to go inside. But lots of love from Australia. I hope you're getting some of the beautiful energy through this video. You will be, because my words are always kind of contain the energy of where I am. It's like the environment plays a big effect on the type of message that comes through. The environment and the time of year and all of these kind of things. But yeah, much love, and you're in the right place always. All right, goodbye.